All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Terry Drummer. Welcome, welcome. Welcome today to our Umbrella Driver Recruiters virtual truck driver recruiter hiring session, web hiring session. I am senior recruiter as well as hiring manager here with Umbrella Consulting Services. We do business as Umbrella Driver Recruiters, and today we are going to be discussing our virtual truck driver recruiter position. As we're a third party recruiting firm, and we specialize in Class A and B driver placements. And so today we're going to be talking about this position. And for those of you that have recruiting experience, I'm sure you're looking for a new industry to recruit in. If you've been working as an independent contractor, or for those of you that do not have recruiting experience, but you do have transferable experience and you want to find out more on how you can learn as well as become acclimated to the industry, then this is the place for you. So we are just letting folks kind of trickle in. For those of you that have just joined us, again, my name is Terry Drummer, and I am senior recruiter as well as hiring manager. If you are joining us via the web, great. I'm going to be sharing a PowerPoint presentation. If you are joining us via phone and you do have a way to get online, we'd recommend it. However, if you do not, you'll get all the information necessary to make a determination if this position is going to be a good fit for you today. So just be ready to take notes. And I have folks from anywhere USA. This is a virtual position, which means that you can work from home. So we have Mike here. Hi, Mike. Tracy's here. We have, let me see, is it Ariadna Barclay from San Antonio, Deja from Dallas, Latoya, hello, Sierra, Luciana Nelson from Apache Junction, Arizona. Right outside of Atlanta in Decatur. So for those of you that are in the Atlanta area, we actually do have a physical office here, but primarily our virtual team operates from anywhere USA. So this position will definitely be available to you. So I'm going to go hiring manager here with Umbrella Driver Recruiters, and we are a third-party placement agency. We have a relationship with several nationwide hauling freight, and so they are always on the lookout for new drivers. Every day, it's a very, very demanding industry. If you guys know anything about the trucking industry, you do know that, if you're out there driving or if you have any family members or friends, there's always going to be a high need for truckers simply because there's a high need to move freight. If you have to get to a plane, a train, or a boat, you will need a truck. So, the demand for drivers is definitely there. And we're going to be talking about how that actually relates to the demand for recruiters like yourself. So for those of you that do not have any experience in transportation industry, I do like to start off. Does anyone else have any audio issues? Let me know if you can hear me. I do have one person saying they cannot hear anything. So if you can hear me, go ahead and type in chat so that way I know that it's just isolated. And I do apologize if you have any audio issues, then please dial in. Thank you, David. Thank you, Tracy. Please dial in if you are. All right. Just wanted to make sure it's not me. It does get a little choppy. Again, it just depends on your computer. So I would say, dial in and still follow along online, and you should be fine. And then you can just kind of put it on mute. All right. So I like to start off by playing this short video. It's about a 2-minute video, and it goes over the transportation industry, the demand. So we're talking to a hiring manager at a company who's looking for drivers. And it's also going to be talking to a couple of folks who actually started EL Class A truck drivers, and just to, kind of give you guys an idea of where this industry is going. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video. And once I started, if someone could actually just type in chat and let me know that you can see and hear the video once it begins. And then right after that, we'll jump right into our presentation. So give me just a second. I'm going to go ahead and get that playing for us now.
Help wanted. Must love the open road, sleeping in tight quarters, and 26,000 pounds beneath your feet. Sounds good for Wade Bromett.
I got hired to drive a truck for Prime.
Out of work for a few years, Bromett went from home building to trucking. The reason? It's where the jobs are.
I've been through several recessions before. I was building homes when Jimmy Carter was president, for crying out loud. And things were bad then, but they're terrible now in that industry.
Breaker 19, Breaker 19.
Movies like Convoy and Smokey and the Bandit were the image of truck drivers in the past. But a weak job market has brought out a different applicant.
And I do get people from all walks of life. I've had, ex-teachers, ex-lawyers, ex-accountants.
The money's there, nearly $38,000 a year for heavy long-haul truckers, and the top 10% make more than $58,000. It's supply and demand. A rebounding economy means more freight to move and more jobs to fill. About 200,000 long-haul trucking jobs are open nationwide to add to the 1.5 million drivers on the road now. Like healthcare jobs and retail sales, truck driving is an occupation that's growing. More than 300,000 long-haul trucking jobs are expected to be added between 2010 and 2020. Prime Trucking is hiring.
I could put a couple of hundred people to work this next week. The demand for our services is there. It's the qualified people that's the challenge.
Those qualifications include a commercial driver's license, which can cost thousands of dollars and weeks of certification courses. There are also safety concerns.
Safety is absolutely vital.
And the trucker lifestyle can also hold some back from applying.
It is a 24/7. You are making a big commitment.
Prime is trying to recruit by offering certification and training on site for free.
The cost here is zero. We're training them. We want to help that person who is making that career change or choosing their initial career.
Alan Harrell is training Gerald Hesser. Both switched careers to trucking after being laid off.
They were looking to cut costs, and I was the downfall from it.
Got laid off at the beginning of the year, and I needed something to take care of my family.
While the days are long,
I am probably gone probably 45 weeks out of the year.
For Alan and Gerald, trucking is more than a job.
You get a chance to go just in some phenomenal areas, of the country, driving. That is the beauty of this job.
I really love to be a truck driver. I really do.
Christine Romans, CNN, New York.
All right, so let me go ahead and pull up my PowerPoint. All right, so as you heard, a little bit about the trucking industry. Well, you saw that one hiring manager said he could put a couple of hundred drivers to work in a week's time, okay? So what that says for me as a recruiter is that there is no shortage of open positions in the industry. There'll never be a shortage of jobs. We are actually looking for recruiters to work aboard our team to help us fill these very unlimited amounts of positions that, most of these companies do have. I mean, one of our carriers alone could have hundreds and hundreds of openings. We have a growing virtual team. Like I said before, we have a relationship with 13, actually about 15 carriers at this time, in which we do work on their nationwide job openings. And there's, no shortage. So we definitely are looking for a growing virtual team. So far, we have about 42 recruiters on our team, and we're looking to bring aboard more. We want to give you an opportunity to make placements in this particular industry. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So a little bit about Umbrella Consulting Services. Our talented staff has combined over 20 years of, business development, transportations, and logistics staffing, especially as it relates to marketing and management. And, we all individually started out as contract recruiters and then specializing in the trucking industry. But, we found that in our individual experience, this was a niche market. Finding out about the trucking industry, I kind of actually stumbled upon it. And, with our, a gradual experience, we realized that, it was just something that you either got into from familiarity, from working in the industry, or just really kind of, learning the trucking industry and creating relationships with companies. But, prior to me coming across transportation recruiting, I hadn't heard of it. I mean, I really hadn't heard of it. And I had been working in IT recruiting, healthcare. I specialized in staffing at a staffing agency as a recruiting manager, and I specialized in call center staffing and management. But when I wanted to get out here and become an independent contractor and, and become a headhunter and make placements and earn placement fees, I had no clue that this industry existed. So, I went after the IT contracts, the healthcare contracts, the corporate contracts, things of that nature. And I know that, for me, I can only speak for myself. I didn't really have the experience. I wasn't really confident in those industries. Although the commission placement fees were very, in abundance, that you could make, but, you really had to go through some tough trials. You really had some very competitive candidates, and you had to be, pretty much a diehard recruiter to really know how to find the best candidates and for those industries, or you have to have some sort of industry knowledge. And since I never worked in healthcare and I wasn't really technically savvy, to the degree of an IT professional, I kind of did a lot of skills matching. I mean, I'll be honest, I threw a lot of spaghetti on the wall. That was my story. Some of you guys have excellent experience and backgrounds in those industries. But the life cycle of a hire was just, pretty long. It was very competitive. It was drawn out. And I learned the ropes and, I made placements here and there, but I just didn't have that consistency. And I knew that I loved recruiting. I just thought that it was hard, and I said, well, I'm more of a sales girl. I like to, I'm customer service, I'm sales, I love to recruit, but I don't want I just don't want the difficulty of having to place, really high end candidates. That just wasn't me, and I'll just be honest. So, when I found the trucking industry, it just relaxed my mind because it was just such an easy close, and the industry moves so fast. And we're going to talk about that completely different industry, taking the exact same experience that I've been trained and, just making difficult placements and translating that over to the trucking industry. It just made sense. It was easy for me and I understood it. And so we actually combined all of that experience and we decided to develop a virtual office and a virtual company for individuals like yourselves. Well, first off, companies so that they can actually, have an edge on the recruiting. So, we work with companies all across the country from our virtual office, but also for recruiters like yourself, who had no clue about the trucking industry. We were able to compile a training that will get someone, involved in this industry and essentially train them fairly quickly in a simplistic fashion in our virtual office and to become expert truck driver recruiters. So if you don't have any experience recruiting, but you do have strong administrative skills, we could actually train you in this. And if you do have recruiting experience, then this will translate easily, hands down. Just apply your existing experience and then, learn the niche market and you'll definitely have a professional edge against everything in the industry. So again, as I stated before, we are a truck driver placement agency and we are looking for professionals like you to train to become expert driver recruiters. Again, we do want you to have strong administrative skills. That's probably the only thing outside of having the direct experience that will be necessary because we do work in a virtual office. You do have to have a high level of discipline and, you have to have technical experience as it relates to just being able to utilize multiple web-based programs, organize your desk, things of that nature and be able to catch on to some of the administrative tasks that's going to be necessary for this position. So let's talk a little bit more here. If my slide will go ahead and play. Why work with us? Well, a lot of companies are hiring fewer in-house recruiters. Like I stated before, maybe some of the industries that you're recruiting in is kind of slow and you're looking to make placements. You want a fast-paced, environment. You really want to see full-time money, consistent income with a contract or independent contract recruiter position. I mean, it's just that simple. That's what I was looking for. I was trying to find how I could, find a position that I could still be an entrepreneur, still work my own schedule, still become an independent recruiter, but I wanted consistency. I wanted confidence. I wanted to know that my candidates was converting over to hires quickly. And I wanted to be an expert. In this industry, this definitely has that potential. With truck driver recruiting, there are hundreds of ongoing positions open with several companies, and they are seeking to hire drivers every single day. They don't take forever to get your drivers hired. They usually have a 72-hour turnaround on offering a job. They want to get drivers to work every single week. So that's how we work in this industry. So, definitely going to give you the stability and earning potential that you desire. You are paid per placement, and you'll have a much higher income per year opportunity, based on your productivity and utilizing the training that we are going to provide you. So we do offer a unique virtual platform for you. We call it our back office. And in our back office, we actually have self-paced training videos. We also have live training every week, as well as our live virtual office. It's I always call it like our company Facebook. And, that's where we all interact. We work, live and play there. We're sharing information. We are providing your candidate submissions and updates in real time. You're working directly with our management team to get your drivers hired every single day, so that you can recruit in confidence. We will provide you all the training needed to be a successful truck driver recruiter. So again, if you've worked in admin, HR, if you've done some level of call center, if you've worked from home before and you think you're pretty savvy and you can catch on, trust me, you'll be able to catch on in our environment. You will work in our structured virtual back office with access to all of our carriers' job openings. We're going to show you, and teach you about all of our carriers' individual job needs. We'll give you recruiting resources and guides so that you can become an expert recruiter. You'll be able to work your own schedule in the parameters of our management support schedule. So we usually are in office 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturdays, we have limited online support, but you can pick out your schedule based on that, and we'll talk more about that in the in upcoming slides. But we do want you to earn the income you deserve, but still have the freedom of an entrepreneur, because that's what this is about. When you're working from home, you do want that freedom. You want to be able to save money from commuting, and you want to work your own schedule. And you might have another job or become a business owner, but a lot of companies are outsourcing virtually. And so again, we're just right here at the curve of the edge of the industry with virtual teams. So moving forward, a little bit about some of the roles of a virtual truck driver recruiter with our company. You are work from home recruiters, so known as virtual or remote or independent contractors. So you will be working primarily online, and you'll work with our virtual team. You are going to be finding qualified candidates for all of our carriers' job openings. You do have the freedom to pick and choose which carriers, locations, and job openings that you want to recruit for, because you'll have access to our back office, in which you'll be able to review that information and access that and pick and choose and how you feel. You will find you also have the ability to pick and choose how you find your candidates and your schedule. So you're essentially your own boss, but you're within our company platform. So you're working individually, you're taking the experience level that you have, you're applying it, and you're using our tools to be able to do so. And another thing is that I know a lot of companies, especially if you've ever worked in a sales or recruiting industry, there may be some heavy, you may have some sort of a sales goal or some sort of a performance metrics that will basically determine whether or not you have a future with that company. We know that that's a stressful environment to work in. We've all come from that. I used to work, at AT&T in a very, very high salesy environment, and they cracked the whip on me every day. And even though I made tons of money, it was a headache coming to work, because if I didn't make a certain amount of revenue every month, I was, either going to get rolled up, or I was, in lieu of my job, and I just didn't want to live that way. And so that's not necessary. I just think that that implementation alone just clouds your mind. So we like for you to feel as though you're your own boss. We're giving you access to our company platform. We're giving you training. We're supporting you. We're doing everything as if you were worker working in a corporate office, you're virtually online, but you essentially have your freedom to work as much or as little as you like. I mean, we're going to give you the tools, but you are going to be able to, learn at your own pace. You're going to be able to always have this as a avenue to earn placement fees. So this goes for some of the folks out here that are working already with other industries and you're just looking to add an extra stream to your desk. If you're working part-time, if you just want something to supplement your income, great. But most of our recruiters are working full-time and they're making full-time money, and they're, at the end of the day, they're being able to, cut their hours from working full-time every single day because they have their pipeline built there. They know what they can make. They're earning good money and they're able to do other things in life. They're just not, concerned or focused on placements because it is an easy placement, industry. So our recruiters do provide their computer savvy, excellent communication skills, and, recruiting expertise to maintain a consistent level of hires for all of our nationwide job openings. So you're going to develop and maintain a full understanding of the driver labor market. You will be taught our carrier staffing needs and requirements and maintain updated info related to new and existing job openings and bonus positions, things of that nature. But you're going to develop and maintain relationships with drivers through a variety of resources, especially online. Most of our recruiters are working primarily online, utilizing job boards, social media, advertising, digital marketing, the whole nine. But you also have access to external sources such as job fairs, getting involved in your local labor market as well, and utilizing outside advertising. So, sky's the limit. That's not required for this position, but for an outstanding recruiter, joining a job fair, getting involved in your own local city and region will definitely help you to maximize your placements and your income potential. So overall, you'll be maintaining the necessary sourcing and advertising of openings to attract candidates who you will pre-screen and interview via phone on a daily basis. Everything we do is over the phone. When it comes down to interviewing, we take their applications and we communicate with our candidates and walking them through the hiring process, connecting them with our hiring managing contacts over at the various companies we recruit for. So they are already ready for us to submit our candidates. They know what it's a consistent recruiting cycle that we go through on a daily basis, and they're always getting our drivers in as quick as possible so that we can earn placement fees through their company. Okay. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the carriers that we recruit for. If you have trucking experience, if you worked in the trucking industry, go ahead and type in the chat area, by the way, if we have any truck driver recruiters from maybe a different company. But here are just a few of the carriers we recruit for who currently have openings for hundreds of jobs monthly. So what that says for you is, we rarely have recruiters bumping into each other on positions or submitting multiple or duplicate candidates. Just never really happens. Schneider, JB Hunt, Heartland Express, Ready Ice, Cardinal, Averitt, Comcar, Transervice, CR England. We have a relationship with Man Distribution, Frey Miller, Barton. Those that are not listed here. Who else? Eastern Freightways. We work with Thrive Logistics and a couple of others that are not listed here. So this is just to name a few. And, we like to look at ourselves as the food court of carriers, because if you can't get a driver hired at one company, you have an opportunity to place them at a different one. So all you have to do is make sure they qualify for the position, interview them. And if they are meeting the qualifications and, based on your recruiting expertise, you find them a good fit, then you're going to be submitting them for the position. And then we pretty much take over and help them to get through the application process. We do not perform drug screenings for the candidates. The company does that. We do not run background checks or motor vehicle report checks. The company does that. So what we are essentially doing is making sure that they have a completed application that is thorough, that they meet the needs of the carriers, that they want the position, that they're presented with all the details of the position, that they're okay with it, that they qualify. Overall, that they're just really genuinely interested and ready to work. Because once we get them over to our carriers, basically the process moves very fast, and usually most of our carriers are offering them positions via phone. So they'll get an interview usually either the same day or within 72 hours, depending on the carrier. And then hopefully at that point, they'll be offered a position. And then some of our carriers will just have to wait a couple days for the backgrounds to come back, but they'll have a tentative scale hire date already set, possibly for the next week coming up. So, based on that driver's availability. So that's how fast our hires are. And, so if you guys are wondering, well, what's the life cycle of a hire? We really do try to get a driver, and usually within the first 24 to 72 hours. Some of our carriers are a little longer, which may be like up to a week. But they are in the business of processing candidates fairly quickly because they have a lot of freight. They have hundreds of trucks that they want to fill. So they're not making any delay. They don't have to, bring them in and interview them. They just need to make sure that they have, a certain set of requirements, which has to relate to their driving experience and their driving history. So if they have a certain amount of tickets, DUI, suspensions, felonies or misdemeanors, things like that, that's what determines whether or not they're a good candidate. They don't have to have a fancy schmancy resume, right? They don't have to go in for 2 and 3 interviews like some of our industries that we so know well and love, that cause us to have to wait 30 days for a hire. Well, we really do move in a much faster pace. It's just a different ball game. So, if you could take that experience and expectation out of it and be able to, restructure your thought process behind this niche market, but still apply your recruiting techniques, you'll be great at this position. Okay, so let's see. Tracy says she's an experienced truck driver recruiter. Excellent, good to have you. And Deja as well. She has experience and she's worked with a recruiting placement firm a few years ago, looking to get out here. Urania has experience with contract truck drivers, so she knows the lingo. And Sierra, her husband's been in the trucking industry. That's another way for you to learn. Folks who are the wives of, truck drivers or truck drivers themselves that, decided to get off the road. They are the best recruiters because they know their stuff. They know the company and they can highlight certain information. They could really, dig deep and get, and translate positions for folks. And then they can relate to people. So that's really good. Communication is key. Having that experience, having that industry knowledge does help out. Again, for those individuals that don't feel discouraged, you certainly will have, the learning curve will just kind of, it'll happen really quickly because with so fast paced, you have access to so much information and it's mapped out in a very simplistic platform for you that you'll be very confident in the recruiting process. So let's talk about compensation because that's why we're here, right? That's why I do what I do. And that's why you are here. How do you get paid? What is the earning potential in this particular industry? Well, we offer a simplistic pay per hire structure. All of our carriers have a contract agreement with us that they pay us out per hire, 28 days of each driver's hire date, or what we call invoice date. So that's very industry standard in the trucking industry. They pay out their invoices in 28 days. What that means is that the more drivers you have on the books each week, the more frequently that you are paid. So I always tell folks, usually within the first 3 months, you'll get a chance to start seeing consistent income. It just all depends on how quick you can apply information, how much consistency you're going to be able to commit to as it relates to working. Are you going to be working part-time or full-time? Are you going to be dedicated to submitting and speaking to a certain amount of candidates a day? How are you going to translate so that you can always have drivers starting every single week? So for an example, if you had 2 hires a week, that equals 2 payouts a week on the following month. So if you're always having hires every week, then you know that the next month you're going to have a multiple payout. So some of our recruiters, they get a placement one time in a month. And then we have recruiters who are making multiple placements per week. So they know next month they're going to have multiple payouts per week. It's always 28 days from that actual invoice approval date, which is usually the driver's hire date. So our recruiters receive placement fees anywhere between $300 on average to $1,000 per hire, depending on the carrier. Some positions are even worth more. Our carriers, sometimes they'll give us bonus positions when they want us to work on hot jobs or hard to fill locations, or if they have an urgency. So we always send out updates in real time to our team to let you know of those positions so that you can switch gears and start to take a crack at those. Just so you know, on average, our positions are usually 500 and up. The lower end, which is about 300, would be us referring over a CDL Class A student, someone who actually wants to go to truck driving school. We do have a carrier in which we can refer over, and they're probably the least placement fee that you could earn in this, on our commission rate sheet. And this particular placement fee, the amounts that we're talking about here, it's based on a 50-50 split. So the company splits 50-50 with you, and the numbers are based on that. So $300 to $1,000 per hire is based on 50-50 splits. Our top performers make $3,000 monthly within the first 3 months of hire. And then, moving forward, as they continue to grow with the company, they're building their pipeline. They're always increasing. The idea is that every month you want to be making more and more placements. And so you want to continue to keep your pipeline going. This isn't, an industry where we're like, hey, if you didn't make this certain amount of placements, you got to go. Some folks are just fine with making, a couple of placements a month. I'll be honest, we don't want to hold back this opportunity from anyone. We want you to have the convenience and the confidence of knowing I can make placements in this industry with Umbrella Driver Recruiters. They're giving me access to their back office. I have the tools necessary. It's up to me now what I do with it. If I want to make 2 or 3 hires this month and then I want to go, spend time with the kids, that's what you want to do. But if I want to be a diehard recruiter, give myself a 10 to 20 hire goal, and then go and work on, take that money and go and invest it in something that I'm doing and take a month off, that's what the platform is set up for. It's for you as an independent professional. All right. We do ask for, a level of consistency and communication with our virtual team. Of course, we do want you to work full time and, make as many placements as you can, because obviously we make money when you make money. But we are here to introduce and to give you access. That's mainly what it's about. It's about you being able to work as a virtual professional, especially those individuals who are looking for legitimate work from home jobs. We definitely have a growing team of recruiters just like yourselves that joined this session and decided to jump aboard and found that this was a very good niche for them, and they're being very successful and very pleased with our platform. So we just want to be here to support you. All right. Just so you know, our top performers are making between $6,000 to $8,000 a month. And that is within, I would say, averagely within an 8 months period. And then we have some recruiters that have been with us longer who've had some really, spike months, where they might not have made as much 1 month, but they made, a lot, but they may have made, we have like a really hiring spike or some sort of a hot job or bonus in a certain season, that they're making 10,000 plus. So, like I said, doesn't happen every month, but, we have had recruiters reach that mark. And so we are a growing team, and we just want everyone, we hope to get the best of the best on our team so that we can get to a point where we have about at least 60 to 100 recruiters by next spring. But, we certainly are not really looking for, we're not basing our hiring structure on quantity. We definitely want quality. And so we do spend time with a batch of recruiters that we bring in. We train you, we get you acclimated to the back office, and then we safely and comfortably bring in more recruiters. And so that's why we're here today, so that we can go ahead and bring aboard more recruiters before the end of the month to get you in, to get you trained, and to get you access to our back office. So, I am a trainer, and I'll tell you, it's not easy. Being an independent contractor takes responsibility, but it definitely has its reward. So, what I want to say, coming from as a trainer is I work with every new virtual hire, a trainer that comes in, and every recruiter that comes in, I'm the trainer for all our virtual teams. And, I can tell you the best of the best. I can tell you the patterns of successful recruiters, and I can tell you the patterns of unsuccessful recruiters. And so I always tell people, right off the bat, I'm not a salesperson as it relates to pitching the position to you guys. This is not for everyone. Okay. This is a independent contractor position, which means you do have to have self-discipline. You do have to have a high level of consistency to be successful. You have to make it clear in your mind, this is what you want to do, that you're going to give it the time allotted that we have recommended for you to be successful, and that you're going to use the tools and the resources that has come before you, that has shown, based on our successful recruiters, to work. So, you are getting the job security. You are your own boss. We are providing you with tools and support and access to our back office. We are giving you a jump start on your career by giving you a virtual office setup and tools that you deserve. If you work as an independent contractor, you know that paying for job boards, there's a cost for leads, setting up a corporate email so that you can attract professional candidates in a professional manner, having a business line, things of that nature. Nobody wants to use a Gmail email to be a recruiter or a Google voice number. I mean, we really want you to have a attachment to one of the industry's leading truck driving recruiting placement firms, and then having access to the multitude of carriers that we do have. And the positions and openings that you have already laid out in a platform for you is essentially key. You're walking right into a position where we're saying, hey, you can work your own schedule. We're not going to ride your back or crack the whip. We are going to support you because we do understand that there's ups and downs in recruiting, and that being an independent contractor requires that motivation and that support and that team spirit. So we give you that. You have the freedom to earn as much or as little as you like. It's no cap. And one other thing I like to point out is that there's no chargeback. So I know you guys working as recruiters, you've experienced, or even in sales, you've experienced chargebacks, which means that if something happens with your candidate and they're not there for a certain amount of time and you get paid prior to, you may have to give some of that money back, right? Well, we don't do that in this industry. We are not going to confirm a hire until we know that driver is good to go. And, our carriers, they don't backbite on us and charge us back if they decide that driver shows up and they meet the expectations that are mapped out in our contract, which is for them to show up to orientation and complete it. And then some of our carriers, or maybe one of our carriers, actually just wants them to be not only finishing orientation, but get dispatched on their first load. Then they are approving our invoice and we are getting paid. If that driver decides to quit tomorrow, after we've been approved, guess what? No chargebacks. So, money driven and motivated recruiters, that's what I like. I love to work and train with you because I know you get it. Those individuals that, you really know, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm not really as technical savvy as I thought. I really don't like picking up the phone. I'm not going to post job postings. I'm not really a good data entry person. I don't really have any self-motivation. I really prefer an hourly position, something a little bit more comfortable that I can just kind of see what I'm making and, and stay in that safe zone. I get it. Trust me, I respect it, but this isn't going to be for you. All right. Because we do work in a productivity-based environment. So if you are not picking up the phone and talking to candidates, which, I tell recruiters, if you're not making 50 calls a day, which is really nothing in this industry, and you're submitting 1 to 2 or maybe 3 apps a day, maybe even more. Most of our recruiters are submitting 5+ apps. But just starting off, any level of consistency, you could get a hire. I had a lady who started with us just like you. She joined one of the sessions and she had called me. She had some additional questions and she hadn't even, started yet. And she, we didn't get her processed in yet. And she had a driver on the other line and she conference called them in. And that was her first hire before she could even finish her contract. So, and, she earned a placement fee her first day. So you never know who it is that who is you come across if you don't open up your mouth and say, hey, I have, trucking positions. I work with all these different companies. Folks are looking for work in this industry. It is a very, very lucrative industry. Now, a lot of the baby boomers have, retired. And so there's going to be new recruiters. I'm sorry, I keep saying recruiters, but there are going to be new drivers entering into the workforce. We like to promote folks to go to CDL school so that we can get a placement fee from that. We can get them hired their first job and get a placement fee for that. But we want to, promote this saying, hey, the trucking industry is where it's at. Folks are looking for work. Folks are looking for an opportunity to pay their bills and support their families. And there's just so much freight out here, which, even the latest numbers on this would be that there's going to be, over the next 10 years, it's a growing industry. There's going to be several thousands of positions opening not, I want to say over 60 to 70,000 jobs nationwide. Just, it's growing. So you guys have stability as recruiters. You can work with one of our carriers all year long and make full-time money just working with them. Of course, we don't want you to limit yourself to that, but I'm just giving you the idea for those of you that are not even really good with multitasking like that. If you just really want to focus on one, you could pitch this thing and recruit in any way that you like. There's different ways to do this. I have certain recruiters that are working strictly with students. They decided, hey, yeah, it's about 300 per hire, but it's an easy hire. So I'm going to focus on inspiring students to go to school. And that's how I make my money because, I take care of the kids and, I just, this is my level of understanding. This is what I feel comfortable doing. That's what I want to do. So we're going to help you to do that. We have some recruiters who host job fairs and they get a ton of candidates in and then we place them and they convert over hires in that fashion. So there's different ways to do this. You just have to find your niche within our back office and show us you're dedicated to the team, and we definitely invest in you. All right. So to join our team, there is a recruiting membership. Now, let me explain to you about the recruiting membership. To get signed up, there's an initial setup fee for access to our back office and to be set up with your digital desk. So what we do, we want to make sure, and there's two reasons why this is implemented. One is because we have shared costs for the entire team to support the virtual office and all the tools and resources and training that you guys will get. And then number two, to gauge a level of seriousness. When we first started the virtual team, we brought aboard everybody. We set up everybody that showed up that said that they wanted to recruit, and then we trained them in real time, and we gave them all the access, and we were just so enthusiastic and optimistic about it. And although we love you and we love your background and we love your resume and we know you said you were going to stick to it and be consistent, but guess what? A lot of recruiters wasn't really consistent. They didn't take it serious. And so we had a lot of wasted time because once you submit an application for a driver, you're vested with that driver. We have over 30 recruiters that were processing applications all day. And if you decide, hey, I'm going to submit 10 applications, this person's in the hiring process, but you know what? I don't want to call them back. I decided I'm going to take off for a week, and then we're looking for you and we're trying to figure out if you've talked to that driver. We have to have some level of commitment to gauge, and we found that this works better because working as an independent recruiter, you do understand that share cost, and being able to have access to a setup company like this is very beneficial. So what you'll get is a corporate email and business line extension set up with our company. Obviously, you'll be working, have a title with the company, and you'll be able to refer as a virtual recruiter with Umbrella Driver Recruiters. You'll have access to our online back office training, our templates for job postings and advertising, all of our recruiting tools and resources, definitely our self-paced training, which goes through the entire process of understanding the industry, how to pre-qualify drivers, how to job search, how to job post, how to use the calling script that we have, different tips on you to become very successful as a recruiter. We do have self-paced training, but we also have our live online support. So myself and other senior recruiters will be there for you in real time in our virtual back office. I call it our virtual Facebook, where we'll be there available for you in chat to assist you on your day-to-day recruiting efforts, as well as our submissions team, who's going to be working directly with you, helping to process your applicants every single day. So we do give you that. We also have, we give you access to 2 of our growing leads databases of potential drivers, thousands and thousands of driver applications. Not just, we get them in real time. We get applications in real time every day. Although they do go back, we do recognize that, in this industry, for some of you, certain leads may be old after a certain amount of time. Well, in this industry, it's actually a high turnover, which actually is a good thing for us, because drivers are looking for jobs every 3, 6 to 9 months. What does that say for us? We can always get a driver placed. So if I have an application from 2015, I'm not going to overlook it and say, oh, that's an old application. Maybe he didn't have the experience that he has today in 2015. Maybe he wasn't qualified. Maybe there was a ticket or something that needed to come off his record. And so he's looking for a job today. If I don't make that call and see what's going on with him, I won't know. And drivers are really, really, they're really receptive to recruiters. They really do want to hear from us. I've never really had anyone actually say, they didn't want to hear from a driver recruiter. So, and there's excellent commission payouts for placements, bonus and incentives, no caps on your commission payouts, and then opportunity for advancement to become a senior recruiter. And we'll talk about that. Now, we actually do have after your initial setup fee of $59, which is $59 monthly, we don't want you to have to continue to pay membership fees, because we don't want this to be a thing where it's all about membership. It's really for us to set you up and get you in, and it's really to gauge your level of commitment, because what we would like for you to do is to make hires. We make money when you make money as far as hires. So after your first initial setup fee, that's going to get you your first 30 days with us. Obviously, that's your learning curve. You are going to be training in that time frame. That following month will be your first month outside of your training month. Okay. So from that first day of that second month till the next due date, that would be your monthly fee due date. If you have a hire on the books, if you have a confirmed hire, just one hire, we waive your membership fee. So essentially, you will not have to pay a membership fee after the first initial setup fee if you have a hire on the books every month. Because again, we are just like you. I can jump in on that side of the chat with you, Jessica and Alejandra, and say, hey, I'm not with it either. I want to be able to make money. But, in a independent contract recruiter position that we have placement fees, nobody's going to guarantee that you're going to get a hire unless you do it. We can't guarantee you because we don't know what you're going to do with the work that we give you. We can give you access. As a recruiter, I cannot tell you what your expertise is. So you're rewarded with your productivity by having your membership fees waived for having at least one hire. Of course, that's just, one hire is not what you want to go for. That's just, the simplest, the bare minimum. And so we do want you to have a confident tenure with our company and just respect the fact that we have to protect our business interests as well. Again, you are becoming vested and, with your candidates. Once you start talking to them and start posting jobs, we don't want any hires to go wasted away, because we do have some recruiters, not saying you guys, but we do have recruiters that, they go ghost and they go missing. And, sometimes the bottom will fall out some hires because we haven't heard back from the candidate or the recruiter, and we don't want to risk losing any hire. So we definitely want you to give us your level of commitment and we'll give you more. So we find that to be very fair. Now, as far as the opportunity for advancement, once you get 5 hires, you would actually be considered to be a senior recruiter. At that particular point, you have had a lot of, you've had a lot of interaction with drivers. You have product knowledge. Our back office very well. And when we do get a new team of recruiters like yourself to come in, they would need a go-to person because we are a growing team. So we'd like to hire from within. A senior recruiter would be a go-to person for a set amount of team members that are coming in to be kind of their team lead. Also to help to inspire them and motivate them to hit a certain target. You want your team to make a certain hiring target, and you would actually earn incentives. So you would actually get 70% commission payouts for being a senior recruiter instead of 50%. And then you would also get a override on your team based on you hitting bonus markers and the incentives. So that's what we do for senior recruiters. Again, that is optional. You do qualify for that potentially after 5 hires. And so if you are looking for something like that, if you've ever been a team lead or a sales manager, or you're in a team building, then that would be a really great way to climb up the ladder with our company. But that's not, required. If you just want to focus on yourself and work as an independent recruiter, take a crack at all of our job openings and see how you are able to translate that and make money in this industry. You, by all means, have that as well, no pressure. We also have an office in Atlanta here, as I spoke to you guys about in the beginning. If you are in this area and you prefer to come in office, there will be no membership fees. We actually have 2 openings in our office right now that we're looking for team members from our virtual team that happen to be in the Georgia area. If you'd like to come in office, it's 3 days a week in office, 2 virtual. There will not be any membership fees, but there will be a productivity structure for that, simply because the corporate office, we tend to have a lot of walk-in, we have a lot of job fair traffic, and we do have a lot of general company-driven leads that we need processed. So you'll probably have an easier hiring. You'll have more performance in office, but we will require some level of productivity to be able to waive that. So if you are interested in that, definitely let us know at the end of this session when we tell you how to actually apply. So, I've been on your side of the desk. This is the best way for us to structure our virtual team without spinning our wheels. And we do hope that you respect and understand the reason for our membership fees. But again, that's up to you. Initially you set up, you get your office set up. We, cover your initial desk costs, and then we're waiving as long as you're working and you're getting at least one hire. We will not require for you to have to pay a membership fee. All right. So hopefully Jessica and Alejandra didn't leave. I saw something in there. They said that it didn't work for them, and that's fine. We respect it. This isn't for everybody, as I stated before. All right, and we're just going past that because that's old. So Q&A. Let's just recap. Have at least 1 year of recruiting or transferable experience. Trucking industry is a plus, but it's not required. So I don't want you to feel, intimidated or feel like this isn't going to be for you because you don't have any trucking experience. I didn't have any trucking industry experience when I started in this industry. I did date a couple of truck drivers, but, I didn't really know. But I learned the market. I researched. I learned from those that come before me. And then that's why, we were able to translate this. And the things that I found hard working with other companies that offered this same sort of a position, they didn't train us. They didn't give us any leads. They didn't give us any job boards access. They didn't tell us how to do anything. We just had the contract, and if we were recruiters, we were supposed to recruit. That was it. Nobody gave me a corporate email, a business line, a back office with step-by-step instructions, none of it. And that's why I was like, my goodness, even though I learned the hard way, I was like, a lot of people would probably really be good at this, but they just don't know it exists. And nobody's taking the time out to train them and baby step them in. And then voila, light bulb moment. And so, we created our virtual office, and we're very, very pleased. I'm also a manager with our parent company, and so that's our liaison. Except for Umbrella Driver Recruiters, we actually have a platform for you so that we can train individuals with absolutely no experience. So we take pride in our niche market here. So we do ask you, we throw this out there. It's really kind of a little bit of an outdated read here when we're talking about committing to minimum of 5 submissions per week. We do want to see activity. That's 1 app per day. We will approach you and say, hey, we haven't heard from you. Are you actively recruiting? Only especially if you have candidates on the books and we need to get some updates on them, because we want you to get your drivers hired very quickly. And then, of course, just do away with the whole thing about 10 applications for monthly fees to be waived. We actually changed that to just having 1 hire. 1 hire on the books, your monthly fee will be waived. So we made that a lot simpler for those individuals who have a hard time getting a certain amount of apps, or if they're just submitting apps just to be able to meet that. So that's kind of, we'll overlook that. But please have access to a computer with high-speed internet, right? Mobile device to download our business phone app, and you'll get access to all of that once you get started. And then, of course, a quiet office working environment. It's quiet here where I'm at. Every now and again, a train will go by. I actually work out of the corporate office, and then certain days of the week, I work from home. And so today I'm working from home, but we do have a corporate office, and it's a small office. It's not, a big foundation, but we definitely are growing. We are going to be moving to the closer to the downtown area in Atlanta. By next spring, we will have a bigger layout with more of a call center layout. And so we are very excited about the growth there. And we're going to be bringing in a lot of entry-level professionals to give them the experience they need in the recruiting industry, because we really, really take pride in teaching as well. Willingness to work between the hours of 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So although you can make your own hours, we're just letting you know we're here between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that way we can process your applications, typically up till about 5 o'clock, because a lot of our carriers, their HR departments close at that time. That's how we talk back and forth with them all day in relation to, in service of your applicants. So, usually after that time, you can still submit, and if you have questions, we'll be available, but pretty much on the next business day, they'll be processed. Limited support on Saturdays again. Monday through Fridays when the carrier's HR departments are usually open. So you can submit on Saturdays. Of course, Saturday is a great day to recruit. Doesn't mean that your app's not going to go anywhere until Monday, but it's definitely a great day to recruit for you. And must have excellent organizational skills and ability to utilize multiple web-based programs. Now, the type of employee that you will be is a 1099 independent contractor. And as I stated before, you will be paid per hire via direct deposit 28 days after the carrier's invoice date. And then we talked about the placement fees that you can earn, which is anywhere between $300 to $1,000 per hire. That's a 50-50 split for our enterprise recruiters. And then once you get 5 hires and become a senior recruiter, you'll be at 70% with a team override should you want to become a senior recruiter and take on the responsibility of being a go-to person for a team. So that is an option for you, okay? So now we're going to be answering questions. I know you guys have a ton for me, and I'm going to answer those questions. I do appreciate everyone that has attended. If you are ready to join our virtual team, and this sounds like the type of platform that's going to work for you, here's the steps to get started. You are going to email your interest to recruitingteam@umbservices.com. You will receive an email. Oh, that's a typo in there. You will receive an email with a brief questionnaire to determine your eligibility to join our virtual team. So you're going to get an application link, and there's just some questions there that will determine your eligibility to join the team, some technical questions and experience questions and your availability. Based on responses, we will forward the membership link to you to actually get you to sign up for your membership. And then from there, you'll receive our new hire contract, a digital version of our contract, get that signed, and then you'll receive the welcome email, which will have your office set up. It'll get you passwords and access to all of our back office and training, as well as all your getting started emails and recruiting resources that you'll get. And then you'll be added to our virtual platform. Pretty much you'll be just starting. And from there, sky's the limit. You'll be assigned to me. I'll be your senior recruiter for your first 30 days. And I'll be your go-to person to train you as well. Again, email your interest to recruitingteam@umbservices.com, and you'll be sent over a brief questionnaire. If you get signed up today, you will actually have access before or by the end of the business day. If you happen to sign up somewhere closer to 5 o'clock, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, it's a high possibility that your set up, your desk setup and things of that nature will be first thing in the morning. So the sooner that you get your membership fee in, if you are actually selected, then you will be able to get your access today. So you can start your training right away. And I always tell folks, get into your self-paced training. It could probably take a couple days for you to get through the training videos, get your desk acclimated, and then come and join the platform in which we'll be orientating you and doing a little live training as well. Okay, so I'm going to go over to the chat, and I'm going to be answering questions. I'm going to scroll back up, and I'm going to talk about some of the things that our chat members here, our chat attendees are asking here, and I'll read it out loud because it's important. And there may be a question out there that you didn't think of that someone else has asked, and then you'll get the information so that you guys can make a determination if this is going to be a good fit for you. And for those of you, I do, again, thank you for attending. I certainly hope to see you on the other side in our virtual team. We love to have you aboard. Sky's the limit with us. And then if you are joining us on the phone, I will open up the phone lines at the very end if you at that time still have a question, because your question may be addressed within the chat. Also, if you are dialed in and you are in chat, let me know the last 4 digits of your telephone number so that I won't open up the phone line and try to ask you, do you have a question, when you're here actually in chat? Because some of you guys are just on the phone for audio to be able to hear me, but you are also able to type in chat. So I much prefer you to type your question in chat so that I can just answer it in a formal fashion. But if you're just absolutely on the phone, stay on the line. If you are in chat, just go ahead and type the last 4 of your number so I'll know not to open up your phone line, okay? And then we will go from there. So I'm gonna go scroll up to the top. And so we talked a little bit about the membership fee. Obviously, I did let you know what that constitutes and the benefits of being a member with us and the incentive to having a hire, which will waive that membership fee. So at that point, if the initial setup is not going to work for you, We respect that. We have to cover our initial cost to bring you aboard the team, but we certainly are giving you a very easy incentive for you to have those fees waived from your whole entire contract with us, as long as you are minimum making one minimum hire per month. So that should work for most of you guys. All right. Let's see. I'm just trying to scroll back up. Okay, I see you guys are posting out the telephone numbers for me, so thank you so much. Let me see here. All right. So someone asked, what if we don't have recruiting experience, but you have 6 years of customer service? Excellent question. So like I said before, if you feel strongly that you have transferable skills, if you are able to review a video, click on some links, log into some sites and read an Excel spreadsheet and type and, read from a driver script and fill out an application online, voila, you qualify. All right. Customer service definitely translates over to this in a very excellent fashion. You'll learn some recruiting expertise. We'll teach you how to pre-qualify drivers, how to talk to drivers, what type of questions to ask, and then you'll learn the ropes from there. It's a very simplified process, but it does have, certain things that you'll need to implement that we can train you on. So I have no doubt that 6 years customer service, you could actually do this. So we have folks with less experience. Let's see. Deja asks, what I would like to know when you have time to answer is where it is suggested that we post ads, and also, do I have an ATS service that will post my ads across the web? But I need to know. Let me just make sure. Okay. All right. Great question. So she's asking about the recruiting tools on advertising and posting jobs. So as an independent contract recruiter, you are ultimately responsible for your own advertising mediums. However, we will be suggesting to you the best places to post ads. We have a recruiters resource that we give you links on job sites that you can go and post up for free. Of course, we use Indeed as our primary job board because it does aggregate the best candidates. And then there's a few different trucking niche sites that we do have on our back office that we give you access to. And we also give you access to a nationwide leads database that has nothing but truck driver applications. But also individually, you are responsible for going out on your own to find out additional advertising and marketing, such as we tell you to set up a business Facebook. They have free job posting on there. Craigslist. They do have a lot of industrial activity as far as industrial candidates. I call them industrial, but transportation and drivers. They are on Craigslist too. Blogging sites, trucking blog sites. Definitely getting out there in trucking groups on Facebook. There's just tons of those because right now everybody's online. Think about it. Truck drivers are driving out there. Guess what? They're on their mobile devices. They are online. They're on the trucking sites. They're talking this and that. They're in the groups. So there's different ways that you can get into those circles and pass along your information. This is a really heavy referral driven industry. Once someone sees that you're a truck driver recruiter, they pass along your information. We do tell folks to have, job fairs or attend and join and participate in job fairs in your area because you just never know. There's trucker, carriers and companies all around you, unemployment, the Department of Labor places around you that you can actually get out there, and then just many more. But individually as an independent contractor, although we give you as much as we can, you ultimately are responsible for that. We also give you access to a ATS that we use that will not be we have a ATS within our company corporate email. So we do have an applicant tracking system for you that you'll be able to house your candidates. They do have an option to utilize to actually have a premium version of it that you will be able to utilize job boards and be able to post your ads across the web. But that is something individual to what is included in your initial membership with us. So we give you the basic version of it. If you want to upgrade, and I think it's like $10 a month or something like that extra, but it actually posts out across the board. And then you could actually sign up your different individual employer sites that they participate with to have the auto posting. So yes, we do have those tools and we will provide you with that. Okay, Deja. And it's very easy and user friendly. In fact, we have a self-paced training video on how to do that. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. If you have any more questions outside of that, Deja, go ahead and type it in chat for me. All right, so let me go down. So I hope that answers your question, Mike. Recruiters required to pay for your own advertising because we do have our own marketing, and we like to show you how to start off without paying anything. All right. Well, we know over time, as you're earning placement fees, you're going to want to make your life easier by getting more advertising. Guess what? You got to pay for what it is that you get. Yeah, we do Indeed a whole lot, but sometimes we might have to sponsor some ads on Indeed instead of using it free so that we can make sure we're, feeding the piggy bank, I guess you could say, because sometimes Indeed will try to shut you down for, utilizing. They don't want you to, they'll let you post for free, but if they see you have a lot of high volume, they'll kind of mess with you a little bit. But we show you how to keep it free. And we also show you how to diversify. And if you need to, pay a little bit for it, you can. But that's to your discretion. That's really pretty much up to you as to the amount of candidates or leads that you want to get. If you're used to using Monster and Career Builder, although those are like the big dogs and they do cost a lot of money, we don't pay for those Monster ads. I've never had a need to. But that could be something that helps you to sit back and take nothing but apps all day. So however you'd like to, diversify, but we will show you that initially you won't have to pay for much advertising. All right. Does recruiting activity easily translates into placements? Mike, actually, I was just having a training today. It's really your relationship with your candidates that easily translates into placements, because you could talk to 50 or 60 drivers a day, or even 10 or 20, and you could get 5 apps or 6 apps or 10 apps in. But if you're moving that fast and you're not spending time talking to these candidates and really pre-qualifying them, then you're going to see the bottom fall out because you didn't use the tools necessary to make sure that you asked all the right questions and to spend time with those candidates to make sure that that's the guy that's going to get the hire. So it's really more so about your pre-qualifying skills to talk to these candidates, because you can get candidates on the phone all day. In fact, you can get apps all day. There is going to be a level of, numbers game in there. So there's going to be a level of, how many apps you get in that's going to convert to a hire based on the ratio. But there's also going to be a consideration of the quality of your conversations with your candidates so that you can know this guy's solid. I'd rather have one good solid app a day with someone who I know is going to get hired than I have 10 flaky guys and hoping that just throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping one happens. But, it really just depends on your quality of your recruiting activity that will easily translate into placements. So I want to say 50-50 on that, quantity and quality. It does make a play, because no matter what, if I send 20 apps in, I'm going to get a hire. I mean, that I'm going to get a hire. But at the same time, out of 20, did I just want to get one hire? Did I want to get 5? You know what I mean? So did I send 20 crappy ones and I got 1? Or did I send 20 good ones and I was able to get 3 or 5? So, all right. Do we incur all posting and sourcing costs? Essentially, yes, Genesis, but we'll show you how to make some of that stuff initially free, which pretty much there's no recruiter I know of so far that has joined us in the first 30 to 60 days that paid for any job postings. If they did, it's probably like a Craigslist ad here or there. Maybe they wanted to do ZipRecruiter, or there was some site that they decided that they're used to using, or they already had like an initial job board already set up because they were already established recruiters. But we show you how to keep it free. But you are technically you are responsible for that if that's what you want to do. We do have ways that we have resources for you initially. All right, so going down, Tony asked, just to clarify, you said there was a monthly fee in order to use your back office, and the only way to waive that is to get one driver per month. That is correct. To get started, your initial setup fee is $59. Now, if you do not have a hire on the books for your next, and it's going to be retroactive for the month. So we basically after that first month, you cover your first 30 days. That next, let's say you start today. And so today's the 9/20. So from 9/20 to 10/20, you're covered. 10/20 to 11/20, that's kind of your grace, because at that point, if you get a hire within that time, on 11/20, we're going to bill you for 10 for October. That's if you did not have a hire. If you had a hire in October, we're not going to charge it. Then here comes November to December. Then if you had a hire in November, we're not going to bill you in December. You see how that goes? So we're giving you that 4 weeks to get a hire on the books before we start to say, so it basically goes retroactive back to the previous month revenue. So we just want you to have one hire on the books. You're good to go. Okay. Let's see. Does the company supply business cards or do we supply our own? As an independent contractor, you are responsible for your own business cards. And again, this is the difference between working in-house and working in a virtual team. Our in-house recruiters, we get them business cards. They have a different setup because we physically see you every day. Like you're a little bit more accountable. Virtual, we could send out a ton of business cards, and then we don't know what anyone's doing. So we can't incur those costs for independent contracts on the virtual team. Although I would love to, it just would not, we can't guarantee, now don't get me wrong. We have incentives for those recruiters that are have hires on the books. For those recruiters that are being productive, yes, they do get a certain level of perks, I guess you could say. So I have seen where we've had some of our active and more productive recruiters. Yes, they were sent marketing kits, T-shirts to help to support their job fairs, and marketing, materials to help support job fairs because their productivity showed that they were doing the work, that they, they were able to, qualify for something like that. So but we can give you like a template. And then you can get it. I mean, Vistaprints, usually it's about like $10 or $12 for like 500 or more business cards. So they're pretty easy to get, though. Thank you. And Alejandra, you had the question that you wasn't on the call when I answered your question. And that question was, as far as having 6 years of customer service experience, but no recruiting experience, was that the question? Okay, I got you, Urania. Thank you. Was that your question, Alejandra? Just so I can make sure. And I was just going to tell you that we feel very strongly that your customer service experience will definitely translate to this position. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we were talking about that. The main thing is if you can talk on the phone, if you can click on an app and fill out an application, read an Excel spreadsheet, follow instructions on how to log into a website, primarily if you talking in the call center, you obviously talk to folks. If you can read the script and just follow our instructions and our expertise, we're walking you through it step by step. Yes, you will be able to translate to this position without recruiting experience. Okay. So we're going to give you the tools that you need. It's not a hard training at all. It's not a hard industry to actually train and understand. Excellent. All right, one more question. If I know someone who'd be interested in Great Fit, you can send them over to the initial link to have them sign up for the next web hiring session. And I think we're going to have one next week. So if it's not on the calendar now, it'll be on the calendar before the end of the business day. So that would be great. Send them over, have them register, and they'll join the same session. These are all great questions, guys. Any other questions? So I'm also going to look here at our phone line. Now, if you still have questions and you are on the phone line, stay put. If you are on the phone line and all of your questions have been answered, I will ask you to drop from the webinar just so I won't, take the time out to open up your phone line if you just don't have any questions. So if you don't have any questions, you can drop from the phone line because I'm only going to open up the mic for those who, just for time's sake, that do have questions here. So we can get them in. And I appreciate everyone. And again, if you are looking to get started, email your interest to recruitingteam@umbservices.com. You will be receiving an email with a brief questionnaire to determine your eligibility to join the team. And based on those responses, we will forward you over the membership link and then get you started from there. Okay. I appreciate everyone that's attended. I'm going to go ahead and get started when opening up the phone lines. Let me just make sure that the folks in chat that told me what theirs were, I skipped over. So 0630 and 1579. I will not open. So I'm going to open up the last 4 digits of your telephone number is 3150. Give me a few seconds and you'll be on the line. (3150), you have the mic.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Great. You did a great job, with everything. I heard you say the email address or whatever, but I couldn't really hear, like everything? I just want to make sure I have everything correct to email.
Absolutely, no worries. So you're going to email your interest, and just simply say, "Hey, I'm interested in moving forward," and they'll know what.
Okay.
So send it over to recruiting. So that's recruiting team. RECRUITING team TEAM. So that's recruiting team at UMB, which is short for umbrella. So UMBservices.com.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I have direct like truck driving experience. I'm a truck driver. And I've dealt with a lot of recruiters, talked to them. So I've been through the process. But it sounds like very interesting. Something that I think I could bring the knowledge that I have through truck driving and experience to potential applicants and whatnot. So I definitely want to try to get into this.
Yeah, and you being a truck driver, everything that I said is tried and true as it relates to pre-qualifying a driver, spending time with them on the phone, really talking to them to get to know what they really want. I mean, you'll have that edge because you talk to recruiters, so you know how this goes. And, also being able to, like they were earning off of getting you hires is also a plus too. So great job.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Great speaking with you. Thank you so much for attending.
All right, thank you.
Great. And like he said, truck drivers are absolutely easy because they know the industry. They know what it is. They know how to talk to other drivers. And it seems like they warm up to them fairly easily. So great job. The next recruiter is going to open up the line. 8356. You're going to have the mic pretty shortly. One moment. All right, 8356. You got the mic.
All right, so the initial setup fee is $59, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and I understand if you don't get the first recruit the first month, will it be $59 per month after that?
You'll have an opportunity every month to be able to get it waived. So if you don't get a hire in that, that second month, then you'll pay the $59, but then you'll have another month. If you get a hire then, it'll be waived. So it's really on a month-to-month basis. So it's totally up to you whether or not you pay. Yep.
Okay, so you said we have to pay $300?
Oh, no, I did not. Those words did not come out of my mouth.
Okay, so it's $59.99 a month, right?
No, it's $59 for your initial setup. If you do not have one hire on your books by your next monthly due date, then it's $59 again. So it'll always be $59, but that's only if you don't have a hire. So you're paying month to month access. Yeah. So if you get a hire, we're saying, hey, your monthly fee was waived. You did a great job. You earned us some revenue from your hire. So we don't want to pay a membership fee. It's really just to keep you active and open with our virtual office. Because if you don't get a hire at all, we can't say whether or not you're working or not. You see what I mean? So in order for you to keep access to the privileged back office, we want to know you're still there. So you're going to have to pay that membership fee. So yeah, now I think you get it now.
Okay. And can you spell your name for me? It was T-E-R. It was Terry?
Yes, Terri. My last name is Drummer, like drummer boy.
Drummer?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha. Okay, what 15 carriers are you with?
We currently recruit for Schneider, J.B. Hunt, Averitt, C.R. England, Trans-Service, Bar None, like I said, Cardinal, Ray Miller, Eastern Freightways. I don't know if I said Schneider or not. We have Man Distribution, Thrive Logistics. There's just a few more I'm probably missing here, but pretty much most of a Comcar, and they have a few subsidiaries under there. Who else do we have? There's a DH.
Is it a way you can is it a list I can look at, or or will I have it? I have access to the list once I join the membership. Is it kind of like that?
Yeah. I don't have a particular list, but once you join, you'll have access to our back office, which will have all of our carriers that we actively recruit on and all of their carrier profile pages, which will introduce you to them individually and get you the information you need from each one of their individual hiring needs.
Okay, so these are all top-notch carriers, pretty much, right?
Absolutely. And they have positions nationwide, so there pretty much isn't a city that we can't get drivers hired in. It's going to be up to you to pick out which territories you want to work. If you want to be working nationally, there's actually two different ways you can recruit: by posting out specific jobs in certain areas, or you can actually get leads and job match, which means that, hey, I'm talking to someone, I'm getting some information from them. I'm going to go in my database, look at the positions I have, and then, present positions to them based on their location. Or you can work a specific location and say, hey, I'm going to pick out this position. I'm hiring strictly for that. So there's just so many different ways that you can utilize all these carriers and their job openings to make hires.
Right. Okay, Terry. Well, you did a magnificent job. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
I appreciate it, and thank you. I definitely look forward to having you on the team. Awesome. Good questions. You guys have some really great questions. All right. And I think that was it there. I'm going to go back to my chat. There's also a couple other questions I think I might, let's see, view audience questions. Audio, okay. We got this information by email. Genesis, we will have there's a recorded version of this session that I can send over to you. If you would like to hear this session or one similar to it, there is a recorded session that I have that I can send to those individuals that will like it. You can send that request over to the recruiting team at umbservices.com. It might not be as identical. If it says anything about 10 apps to waive your fee, just know just what we talked about today as far as having one hire on the books would be because we just updated and changed that for the team, but everything else should be pretty much the same information. So you can certainly request that as well. And then let me go back over to the chat. Looks like everybody's good. Okay, great. So listen, like I said before, I do want to thank everyone for attending. I hope to see you on the other side. It has definitely been a great time speaking with you. I hope that we can provide your professional needs today. And other than that, you guys have an amazing week. And I do wish you the best in all of your professional endeavors. All right. And if you have any questions later on that may come to mind that you probably didn't think about, then you can certainly email the interest to recruiting team. And if so, one of our recruiter team members or myself will give you a call if we can, if time allots, or, if you need to have to talk to one of us one-on-one. But pretty much you can email your questions and they'll be answered quickly that way as well. All right. You guys have been great. I want you to have a great day. It's hump day and I'm about to continue humping on the phone. So I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.